Are you looking to join Cycling Men of Leisure for one of our rides in 2025? We've got a few things on our schedule.
That's right. We'll be attending Big Bragg and also the Bourbon Country Burn.
Big Bragg is in Georgia and Bourbon Country Burn's in Kentucky. Both places are going to be absolutely beautiful. We're going to have teams for both of those events. If you're looking to join us on our team, just send us a message. We'll tell you what to do.
So come on out. It's going to be a good time.
Absolutely.
Well, it's time for Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure, the podcast for cyclists who understand that riding is not just about getting to the destination, but the experience along the way. Now, here are the original Cycling Men of Leisure, Adam and Michael.
Hey, good to be with you, sir.
Happy to be with you, Adam. How you doing?
Well, it seems like a week since I've seen you, but I'm good.
Well, it has been a week. Good news.
Yes.
We got the first ride of the season out of the way, under our belt.
Absolutely. And
last weekend.
We got
the Bragg Spring Tune-Up.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. We had a good time. I mean, I'm going to call it the Muddy Woodstock-esh ride. I mean, there was enough rain and red mud there and to put anybody out. But you know what? Short of the rain, it was an awesome time. Awesome time.
It was. Before we get too much into that, though, there's something I wanted to briefly mention.
All right.
I drove from basically Kansas City all the way down to Rutledge, Georgia. And I can add another reason why I love this country onto my list. And I think this is going to be number 31 on my list of the reasons why I love this country.
Driving in Atlanta.
No. I think we can both agree that's the reason why I don't enjoy driving through Atlanta. But, driving down through to Georgia, I realized the United States has a museum, large or small, for any conceivable thing under the sun.
Oh, that's just on I-75 alone.
Literally. Yeah. I mean, I went by the cast iron museum where I could have, if I would have had time, stopped and saw the world's largest cast iron skillet.
I mean, I've seen the world's largest ball of popcorn in Iowa. I mean, does that count?
It's close. I mean, it just blows my mind. I mean, I don't know who that forger was when one day woke up and said, I think I'll make a completely impractically large skillet, but you can see it at the museum. They also came across the International Quilting Museum. Who knew? The one that blows my mind, and I am stopping there the next time I'm in Chattanooga, is the International Towing and Recovery Museum.
Oh, wow.
Car towing? Who knew?
This is exactly why I fly to Florida when I go to Florida. So
anyway, I just wanted to throw that out. I was floored that these crazy things even exist.
And see, I found that there are about 5 million liquor stores on the way down to help out my collection. So I did very well. So
I'm looking for museums and you're looking for liquor stores for the to add to the collection there behind you. Okay.
Well, we
have different priorities. That's fine.
I was going to say everyone has a priority. So
that's right.
Speaking of priorities, one of the priorities for us is cycling, and the reason why we got into this. And we did go to Spring Tune-Up, and let's bring on what we consider a friend of the show, Franklin Johnson. Franklin, thank you for being with us tonight. So,
absolutely, thanks for having me. Excited to be back on for the second time.
Yes. We listen. You put on a hell of a festival. I'm going to tell you that. So, yes, it rained, but who cares? I mean, you can't control the weather. But we had an amazing time. And everything on the website and more, and listening to you before and interviewing on our show and talking to you, I don't think it does it justice. I mean, you have to be there. So, it was, I just highly enjoyed myself. And so I just wanted to thank you, and you introduced us to Heather, and we just want to say thank you for your wife and meeting her. And that was just awesome. So, kudos to you before we get into what it is all about. So I just wanted to thank you for that. So.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It means a lot coming from you guys. I know you guys ride a lot of different rides, and to hear that you enjoyed ours so much means a lot.
So, Michael and I talked a little bit, like, things that we really highly enjoyed, and I think he just had a wonderful setup. I mean, everything was close, and
Mhm.
everything was so easy to get to. The shower truck, excuse me, was easy to use and get to, and food trucks. Although I have one small complaint.
Oh,
Let's hear it.
let me tell you. I'm going to take this one.
Yes, sir.
I think you're probably talking about the all natural alarm clock
At 4 a.m. 4 a.m.
Yes, the all natural food truck fired up at 4 o'clock their generator, and it was loud.
Oh my gosh.
And it just went on for the whole day. So, I mean, it is what it is. And I honestly, don't know if that's where you wanted the food trucks to be originally because of all the rain, but yeah, they fired up their generator a lot earlier than I normally get out of bed. So,
well, apologies for that. We actually normally have the food trucks in a completely different area, but due to the torrential downpours we had on Thursday, we actually got that food truck stuck trying to get it where it was supposed to be, and took some winching and snatch blocks and some really creative engineering to get that thing unstuck. So
I was wondering how you got it out. I mean, I saw you trying to use the truck with the chain, and your truck, if that was your truck, forgive me, or whatever the organization's truck, was just bouncing. It wasn't even moving, that bus. So I was like, oh boy. So
yeah, it's funny, Michael, you mentioned the recovery vehicle museum in Chattanooga. That's what I felt like all weekend, because due to the rain, I pulled out, no less than 20 vehicles, including that school bus and an RV all weekend. We were pulling vehicles out left and right just because of the amount of rain we had. So I would love to go to that museum and see if I could get a plaque on the wall for the amount of vehicles I pull out.
You need to be an honorary member in that museum after last weekend.
Get some pointers for it. Now, we had talked to people. This was our first spring tune-up, and it won't be our last. So, but we had talked to some people. Is it true that you rarely have rain that weekend? Like, everyone we talked to said that they don't even remember ever raining.
Yeah, so I have never experienced rain when we've been at that venue out at that farm. And when I moved it to that venue, I knew that one day there was going to come a storm and it was going to be an issue because we parked in that field. And then oddly enough, the venue owners there, they used to do a big sunflower festival there every year. And they said they did that festival for 22 years and never caught a lick of rain. So we just were unlucky that weekend. But Saturday and Sunday it cleared up and it was perfect. So
it was very nice. So whoever took the drone footage and put it on, that's the only way I've been able to share with my family, like where everyone was parking. I actually set my chair up outside my camp, and I was just watching cars going, oh, don't do it. And they would go in and they would get stuck. And then I'd be like, I'm selling tickets to this pretty soon because I'm going to make some money. So, but you know what? Let's not let the rain overshadow what it was. It was, we got caught in the rain. We went out on a 27-mile bike ride on Friday, and we went out to the second rest stop, and thankfully there was like an aluminum overhang or whatever, at the church or park or whatever it was. And man, it came down like crazy, and we got a little opening, and we said, let's go back. And we weren't 2 miles down the road and just opened up again. But you know what? Who cares? That's part of the adventure, part of it, part of what we're doing. So really liked how you had the food trucks, the bands, and man, you had some good musical talent there. That was awesome to listen to. So one thing I was curious about is your Snoozbox. So we're going to get into what your Snoozbox is, but you had painters there painting it. And who came up with that? Who came up with that?
That was interesting.
That was awesome to watch
that.
But
I've seen the end product. I mean, I saw them when it was partially painted, and I was like, I don't know where they're going with that. And then I saw the finished product. It looks awesome.
It does look awesome. So
nice. I appreciate that. I used to do beer and music festivals in a former life, and that was always something we would do. We would bring a guy out to do like a live mural painting while he was there on like a big 8x8 canvas, and then at the end he would sell it to somebody at the festival. So that's I don't know if you've seen our school bus and our other trailer, but they're
Yep.
also very
Oh, yeah.
colorfully painted. So we like to, if we're going to do stuff like that, we like to turn it into kind of like a little art exhibit where folks can check out the artwork as it's actually being painted on there. So it's
Well, one of
should have been
the
finished, but the rain kind of slowed us down Thursday and Friday.
so I saw at least the side that you're one of the sides that you're definitely using for social media promotion. Is it finished now?
Yeah, he's got some more touch-ups to do, and it'll be finished by week's end. So we're excited that it's finally got its paint job and it's on the road.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Looks good.
You talked about your bus. I'll tell you one thing. One of the cool things you do for Big Brag, I know we're jumping around. We'll come back, but you do the if you have 10 or more on a team, you had to. It's over for this year now, but you sign up, you get more than 10 people, you get a jersey. Well, we were lucky enough to get enough members, and I'm not going to lie to you. All I keep picturing is all of us in front of your bus. So with our teams,
It'll be a great photo op.
That's right. Let's if you don't mind, can we talk about the Snoozbox, because I've seen pictures online. If any of our subscribers do not know what we're talking about, it's a semi trailer that you've converted into glamping or cycling accommodations. But let you talk about it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I don't claim that that's an original idea. Actually, stole it from Pete Phillips, Pork Belly, out in Iowa. I think he's got 8. He calls them fat trailers, PHAT, pretty hot and tempting, and that they are. I got him to he built ours, which was wonderful. So he's a good friend of mine. He actually built our trailer for us and had it shipped down here. And it's just the best way to experience a cycling event that's a point-to-point ride. I know a lot of folks like to camp, and I do love to camp too, but the only thing that kills me on these cycling tours is setting up and breaking down, 7 days in a row, set up, breakdown, set up, breakdown. And then even, there are folks who don't like to camp that stay in hotels, and they are plagued with the same issue of, setting up in a hotel, waking up in the morning, packing down, getting your bag somewhere, getting it on a shuttle, getting to the next place. So this is just kind of the best of both worlds where, you don't have to camp. You get hotel-like accommodations where, you have a bed, AC, electrical, fans, storage for all your stuff. And you get to stay in there. And then when you're ready to ride, you walk out, hop on your bike, ride to the next town. And when you get there, the same room, all your stuff that's in there, nothing's moved, unlock the door, and there you are. So it's really the most high on the hog, as Pete would say, way to ride one of these cycling events.
I love it.
Yeah, so we're excited to offer that to a bunch of different rides this year. Not only our rides, but we're taking it to Ragbri in Michigan and Goba out in Ohio, and just taking it to a bunch of different places this year.
Which I believe you're already sold out on Ragbri this year. Is that correct?
Ragbri sold out almost immediately.
Yeah.
There's just so much demand for it being their 50th year. And that's what Pete told me. There's a number of those bunkhouse trailers, similar things. None of them look as cool as ours because ours has the best paint job in the business at the moment. So it's going to stand out for sure. But yeah, there's just so much demand at Ragbri for services like that it just sells out almost immediately.
And I'm going to do a small plug here for League of Michigan Bicyclists with Neil Glazebrook. He does the Shoreline West, and that is the ride that you're talking about that Snoozbox will be at, will be Shoreline West. So if you haven't seen that ride, I'm obviously from Michigan, and people from our show know that. So doing a little plug for there, and definitely sign up before they fill up, of course. So I had a question for you. I'm not familiar. I mean, I've done the spring tune-up, Big Brag, and I'm coming back to Big Brag this year. On the Snoozbox website, you're advertising Athens to Savannah. Is that a ride that is offered by another organization in Georgia? Or?
Yeah, it's actually it's a support for the Georgia High-Low Trail, which is a trail that they're converting a lot of rails to trails and putting stitching together kind of a number of different trails and paths. It's going to go all the way from Athens down to Savannah. So this year they're offering a road portion and a gravel portion. So you can do both, camp at the same spot, whether you're doing road or gravel. And it's only a 2-day ride. So you go from Athens, 3-day ride from Athens to Savannah, which is, a great little jaunt and a great little area of Georgia to see.
Cool. So one of the questions I had about Snoozbox, and I've seen it in person now and been on the website, is let's talk about one of the questions I heard from some of your registries from Spring Tune-Up is, like, at night, where does your bike go? Just put the bike underneath the trailer or right outside your room, or?
Yeah, so on RagRide, the bigger rides, we're going to bring bike racks so you can put your bike right in front of your room. Or if you want to hang it under the trailer, that's an option too. And then, we don't have restrooms or shower trucks. We'll be dependent on whatever facilities they have at the different rides we're going to. But other than that, it's hardwood floors and comfortable mattresses. So it's definitely a good setup.
So if anyone is curious what we're talking about, if you're a cyclist and you're looking for accommodations, I'm going to talk about the website. It's snoozbox.co. So definitely check it out. Franklin's got a bunch of pictures there. Looks awesome. I'm not going to lie. And you did, to be fair, you did call us and offer us, but we've got our whole system. We use tent cots well, you were looking very stressed on Thursday, and you walked by, and I said, "Can I get you a drink?" And you said, "Yes, please." And so we poured you a bourbon to go. So I
appreciated that very much.
you look like you needed it. Yeah.
We were just scrambling for solutions. I think that's one of my strong suits, and one of the things I think we did extremely well this past weekend is. The field just deteriorated so fast where we were parking. So we got a gravel truck in there to bring in some more gravel to help folks get out. And then we called around to, beg, borrow, and steal, and got the mayor on the phone and got somebody at a local church. And thankfully they were able to offer us their parking lot. So we're able to, if you're going to come, you're registered for the event, please still do come, enjoy it, but park at this church. It's a couple miles down the road, and that way you're not risking getting your vehicle stuck. So, for everybody listening, it just sounds like a total washout, but it actually ended up being quite fine, and we're able to get all the people in there and riding. So it worked out really well. But there was definitely a lot of pivoting and being creative to figure out how to effectively park, 1,300 people when your parking is gone kaput.
I tell you what. Go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
I was just going to say, you know what? It's the weather. And I think any cyclist realizes that you can't control the weather.
No.
So that was one thing. So everybody would come up and just like, oh, it's raining. It's going to rain tomorrow. And I think our response, Adam's and I's response was, that's just part of the journey, part of the adventure. And it's one of those things that, you know what? I am not going to remember a big chunk of that ride because of the rain. A lot of the rides just all kind of meld together after a while. Well, the rain will definitely, the red clay, that'll definitely stick in my mind for a long time. So just helps me remember the event.
Oh, for sure.
I want to apologize to you just for a second. We know you as a friend of the show, and we consider you a friend. But for anyone who didn't get to hear our first interview with Franklin, Franklin is the executive director of Bragg, and their website is bragg.org. You were recently on another podcast, Just Go Bike podcast, and I'd like to talk about, just real quick, I really enjoyed your story of your two things. The first is how you rode your mongoose or whatever, 20-inch bicycle, no single gear, fixie, 60 miles, and that must have been a killer. And the second thing, I really enjoyed the babysitter. You're like, I'm going for it. Maybe she's a little cute and stuff. So really enjoyed your interview with those ladies. That's a great podcast as well. So the next time we're going to get to see you, sir. Well, I don't know if I get to see you the first night because we're flying in to Augusta, but we're coming back to Big Bragg with you, so we're highly looking forward to that. So,
I'm excited. That's going to be such a great ride. So many cool routes we have on that ride, especially the first 3 days. It's going to be just gorgeous.
On behalf of Adam
and Michael,
we both want to say thank you
for your support.
Well,
And in the history aspects, we're hitting some awesome, very rich history communities, which is for me is awesome. I mean, my passion lies in cycling and history. So it's going to be very exciting for me, some of the places that we get to go through.
Yeah.
just make sure you get your history right, because every time you don't, then I get blasted behind the scenes. So,
okay, I didn't say, I've hit one or two wrong things out of like 100. That's pretty fair percentages. So,
yeah, the problem is we recorded it and we produced it and we put it out. You can be wrong all you want. We just have to edit it out later. So,
and anytime we're wrong, we do make corrections on the show. And
that's true. That's true. So big brag, not being familiar with the area. I actually enjoyed when you were on Just Go Bike podcast, when you were talking about, the elevation, the mountains and the lakes. So it sounds like, we're going to be going by some really beautiful areas. So.
Yeah. First day, we're actually riding around 3 different lakes, which is an area where I grew up, going to summer camp up there, Athens Y Camp, which is just a gorgeous area. So we'll go around Lake Raven, which the county is named after. We'll be in there, Lake Raven, Lake Seed, and then Lake Burton. And those 3 lakes are really the most 3 pristine lakes in Georgia. I mean, they are just super clear. I mean, you can see, 20 feet straight to the bottom, if it's shallow enough. I don't know if you know Nick Saban or have heard of him.
Yeah.
But he,
Mm-hmm.
he could have had a lake house anywhere in the country, and he chose to put his on Lake Burton. So it's just a very well-to-do area, very gorgeous water. It's a roller coaster is the best way to describe the roads that go around these lakes, because it's very tight turns, up and down, very quick, which makes it for very fun cycling. So I'm very excited to put all of our riders on that ride so they can experience that.
That's awesome. No, that's we got to experience that in Kentucky, where we just went up and down, and you can just keep building up momentum and stuff. So, but you mentioned I smiled as I was listening to the interview, of course, doing homework for our show. But when you said, yeah, you got to climb the mountain so you can have the fun ride down. I'm like, hey, I like the down part. So, so we know that the overnight town is in Brazelton. You talked about something really, really cool that I guess I just caught from your other interview. So you actually are going to have a chocolate and wine tour. Is that correct?
Yeah. So Brazelton's a really great town. It's uniquely positioned where they're surrounded by wineries. There's a brewery right in town. And so there's a lot of boutique restaurants and boutique shops. So yeah, we're organizing, or the town is organizing, excuse me, a wine and chocolate tour where we're gonna there's a trolley involved, and then we're gonna walk to a few different places and try some wines and chocolates along the way, which I think is going to be a great option. So you're gonna actually probably have to sign up for that ahead of time, and we're probably expecting that to sell out. So as soon as we get a link where we can start selling some tickets to that for the town, we'll put that out there, and I have a feeling it's going to sell out quickly.
Well, Adam doesn't drink wine, so.
But he said brewery. He said brewery.
Yeah, lakes and libations, so there'll be a spread for sure.
I was going to say, if anyone hasn't checked out the ride this year, you are calling it Lakes and Libations. So we'll get the lakes, and then every night I'm sure that I can guarantee you that this part of Cycling Men of Leisure, and I can guarantee the other part of Cycling Men of Leisure, will have a libation. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was very surprised. I got a call. This is probably like 11:30, 12 o'clock on Friday, and some lady got stuck, trying to get to her RV. And I went over there with a couple guys, and we got the side by side and winched him out. He actually gave me a bottle of Eagle Rare.
Nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Very nice.
This was a very nice bottle that he handed me in return for pulling them out. And then somebody else actually gave me, same deal, pulled them out, gave me a bottle of Whistle Pig. So I really racked up.
Wow.
Yeah.
10-year Eagle Rare.
Right behind my head there, you could probably see there's an Eagle Rare right above my head. So, and another ride that we do, Bourbon Country Burn, we actually went to Buffalo Trace that day, and that the release
was our allocation of the day.
So we ended up going over there. So,
Nice.
by the way, I will send an invite to you here publicly. You can definitely join us if you're not doing something else. You're more than welcome to come up to Kentucky and be with us and camp with us. So, sending out that invite to you, sir. So, Big Brag. If you've never done Big Brag and you happen to come across this cycling podcast, what's a way to describe it? Can you lay a couple things on us?
Yeah, it's like a 7-day point to point. We're moving every day except for in the middle, cycling adventure across the state. And it's a great mix. We do a really good job, I think, of, having great on-bike experiences. So when we're riding, we're trying to stop at some interesting rest stops. We're trying to route you through some interesting areas, beautiful areas, low traffic, try and stop at farms and, it's interesting. Maybe not not as many museums as you would like, Michael, but we'll we try and stop at some places along the way. But then once you get off the bike, we try and have a plethora of activities. So every day there's yoga offered. We have educational classes, and then each town has its own unique characteristics and own unique offerings. So you mentioned Brazelton, excuse me. You got me saying Brazelton now.
It was our fault. Hey,
it was your fault.
Well, I did the research about the dirt farmer who married up, right? And I did say Brazelton. So, in all fairness, Franklin corrected me at Spring Tune-Up, and so now I'm trying to go Brazelton.
That's right. And funny enough, the town over from Brazelton is Houston, which if you look at it, it's like Houston, which they have some crazy pronunciations here in Georgia. Here nor there, but yeah. So when you get off the bike, we try and have a number and a plethora of opportunities for you to enjoy yourself too. Whether it be, we'll shuttle you to downtown to check out some of the local restaurants. We have a concert almost every night. We'll do movies on the green sometimes. So it really just each town is unique, and we try and highlight the uniqueness, the unique culture of each town while we're there. So it's not only a bike ride, but also a cultural experience along the way.
That's awesome. Well, I really just, I know that you are probably still trying to breathe by wrapping up from Spring Tune-Up and getting ready for your next big event. So, really appreciate your time coming on. Just a couple highlights. I wrote some notes down. It was your interview with us, your first interview, that really helped us grow a listenership, a larger listenership. And what was really awesome, I just have to tell you, is sitting at Spring Tune-Up, where we're just sitting in our camp, just kind of settling down for the night. And then people are just bringing their chairs up and sitting down and saying, which one of you are Adam? Which one of you are Michael? We listened to your show. We heard your show with Franklin. Which one are you from Michigan? And joking about, do you guys tease each other about Eastern time, Central time? And it was just awesome to be there and meet a bunch of people. And we got to meet a bunch of people from our team that are going to join us for Big Brag. And so, wonderful event. I mean, if someone is trying to figure out their cycling schedule for next year, I definitely say put Spring Tune-Up. It is a wonderful festival.
Oh yeah.
I don't know the dates yet. Forgive me, but is it always the second weekend in April, or?
We're usually around the 20th. It depends on the year, because we, in Georgia where we are, the Masters are there. So we have to not hit Masters weekend because all the hotels are sold out. And then we don't want to be on Easter weekend either. So depending on Easter and the Masters, we're usually around not those weekends. So I think next year we're going to be, I think it's like the 20th or 23rd, whatever that weekend is, the weekend we're going to be next year.
Hey, that's not a bad weekend. That's a good weekend for me. No. Happens to be my birthday weekend. So maybe I'll come down to Georgia. So, and only as a funny, I have to say one thing. I would love when we were cycling, your routes were awesome, but I kept getting a chuckle because I would come up over the hill and it would say, this county says $1,200 fine for littering, and literally right past the sign. I'm like, what are these people doing? There was there would be a few roads that would be litter everywhere. And I said, well, they obviously don't care about the fines.
I know. I think what they got it confused is it was a fine and not you get $1,200 for littering because they littered a lot. But I think it's a matter of enforcement, but
Yeah.
I did have to smile today because I went to the garage and I always forget how red the iron in your dirt or clay or whatever, the bottom of my bicycle is just completely red. I'm like, oh, look at that. So
Georgia red clay, that is what we're known for sure.
But I do have to say, Adam, you brought up the routes. I did like the routes. The routes were all well marked. I didn't download the GPS. I just followed the route markers and didn't have any problem there. And I did like the fact that every day you had kind of a short, a medium, and a longer type ride. So there is a route out there for any level of rider, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Although I chose the one with the wall, but that's okay.
And even if you don't ride, that to me, Spring Tune Up is so special because everybody, for the most part, stays on site. We have 50 something plus RVs there that are in their little area. All the campers are in their area, and then everybody comes together in the festival grounds, and you literally ride your bike and then don't have to leave all weekend. It's such a great, showers, restrooms, food, beer truck, registration tent, entertainment, yoga, all everything you could want is right there on site, and everything's pretty compact, which I think makes it so special and makes the community kind of really vibe together. People found you just walking through the festival grounds. So it's such a great event, really.
Well, the one thing you didn't have that we really needed was tire repair because someone decided to drive their van over a metal shank and flattened his tires. So we did have to go off site for that, but
on the vehicle, not the bike.
Not the bike, on the vehicle.
Yeah. Not the bike there.
No.
The bike we could have taken care of just like that.
Yeah. No, listen, priorities. I'm glad it didn't happen on the bike. That's a lot harder to change. 5 lug nuts and rip it off, big deal. Go to a tire store. But I got carbon wheels, which makes it a little bit more interesting. So great event. Kudos to you, your team, everybody. We're really glad that we came. I just want you to know that. So
absolutely.
All right. Well, I thank you for being here. Thank you for being with us. And look forward to seeing you at Big Brag. We're flying in for that one. So we're going to take your advice and do the Uber XL or Lyft XL or whatever from the airport to got a hotel down by the park where we're going to load up on the buses and just excited for the next adventure with you. So,
all right, us too. You're going to miss all the museums on the way down though.
But there's a museum right across from the hotel.
Oh, well, there you go.
You won't be able to get to see the world's largest cast iron skillet though, but I guess we'll have to save that for another time.
Well, listen, we can always go back to Spring Tune Up next year if you want to maybe start a couple days earlier to hit all your museums. I'll be the guy that gets there on Thursday, though. That's all I got. I really appreciate your time. It means the world that you would come on here. So, Michael, do you have anything else?
No, the only thing I got to say is if anybody's got any ideas, suggestions, or anything they'd like to pass on to us, you can communicate with us through cyclingmenofleisure@gmail.com. We'll be happy to talk to you there, or you can hit us up on our Facebook thing. But the only other thing that I have to say is what I always say. And can you help me out there?
Yeah, it's a great day for a bike ride.
Awesome.
Thank you
so much.
All right. See you guys next time.
All right.
Thank you for coming along with Adam and Michael on Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure. If you have enjoyed this, please subscribe to the show on the podcast app of your choice.
Hey, we just wanted to remind you that we've got some really cool products at our jersey and our swag store.
That's right. You can visit cyclingmenofleisure.com. At the top of the page, you'll find our stores page. Click there. There's 2 QR codes. The one on the left has a J on it. That's the store for the jerseys. The one on the right is just a swag store. Has all kinds of different items. Kind of customizable. You can kind of make the swag the way you want it. If the QR codes are giving you an issue, don't worry. Underneath, there's 2 buttons that you can click on. Thank you, and have a great day.